That's with Jamie Duvall, mental health. I think Mr. Thurman, Curtis. Yeah. Hey, he one of your facilitators?
Would, but
Gotcha.
Can you please turn on your camera?
How you turn the camera on? Gonna turn this thing on. Oh, yes. All right.
All right, got your mic on, camera on.
Sorry.
Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is June 11, 24. The time now is 9:03 a.m. My name is Danny Barrod. I'm serving as your chairman today. My colleagues on the panel are Mr. Pete Freeman on my right, and Mr. Chucky Tillis on my left. The panel today at headquarters in Baton Rouge. Staff, please introduce yourself.
Carla Williams.
Francis Abbott.
Okay, today our remote location is Dixon Correctional Center. Would the staff there please introduce yourself for the record?
Deputy Warden Keith Turner.
Charles Russ Classifications.
Donald Cavalier, Classification Manager.
Ashley Bradley, Records.
Curtis Thurman, Assistant Director of Mental Health. Alvin King, Reentry Director.
Thank you very much. Mr. Botwell, would you please introduce for yourself for the record, stating your full name and your DOC number?
Christopher Boutwell, 516-494.
All right. I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of the process. Before that, we have a couple of guests. I'd like you to introduce yourself to people sitting in the back row.
My name is Robert McNair.
And how are you related?
Boutwell.
You related to Mr. Boutwell?
No, we're friends. We're not,
Friend?
no,
All right,
Angie Victor, just a good friend.
all right. And are y'all here to speak or just to watch?
Sir?
You here to speak, or just to watch?
well, we'll speak.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and continue to give you the brief process. I'm gonna give put some information out there, ask you to verify it, then we'll conduct a parole interview. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, who's gonna ask the first questions in the interview. After the interview is completed, we'll ask the facility staff if they have anything to say. We'll allow public comments. 3 supporters will be allowed to speak, which will be the guys in the back row. And in opposition, any opposition will be allowed to speak. We have a representative from the DA's office, Ms. Tracy Barbera is going to speak. And then Mr. Botwell, you'll be able to make a statement before the board makes its final vote. So let's begin. Today we have for parole consideration Christopher Botwell, DOC number 516494, who's a second felony offender who has been convicted of forcible rape of a 12-year-old juvenile and on 2/14/07, and on 12/2/17 was revoked. The sentence and sentenced to serve 20 years hard labor in East Baton Rouge Parish. Your parole eligibility date is September 28, 24. You're not eligible for good time date. And your full term date is 3/28/26. Does that sound correct to you, Mr. Bauer?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, who's gonna cast the first vote and begin the questions. Go ahead, Mr. Tillis.
How you doing, Mr. Botwell?
I'm doing fine this morning.
Good. Where did you go in high school?
I have my GED.
Oh, you got your GED since you've been there?
I got it in 2008, sir.
2008. I read over your case, and if you're released, where do you plan on living?
In Independence, Louisiana, at a friend of mine's apartment.
Have you located work?
Not at the moment, but there's two people that I could talk to as soon as I get out. I know they'll hire me as soon as I go home.
Okay. What did you do while you were there? I saw you took a lot of courses and stuff, sexual abuse, anger.
Yes, sir. So I've completed risk management, Malachi Dads, pre-release. I've gone to AANA. I've completed Speechcraft of Toastmasters. And various spiritual programs I've gone to also.
Okay. While you've been there, what do you normally do? You work or you
I work every day. My previous job was administration orderly. I now currently work in maintenance.
See. And how do you feel now about the situation that happened with you?
Well, I feel there's not a day that don't go by that I don't think back on what I did that day. And I know that in my heart, I should have walked away. But I'm an addict, and I'll always be an addict. And I learned that through AANA. And I know that the only way that I could stay sober is through support. And I have 3 people here today that support me. I have friends that support me. I have other family that supports me. I've learned through these classes that I've taken how to be a more responsible and accountable individual, how to be a man, how to be responsible for my community and my family, and my work job. I've learned a lot of things since I've been locked up. You know, the first 10 years of my dose, I didn't have a chance to rehabilitate myself because I bounced around a lot from satellite camp to satellite camp to satellite camp. But since I've been here, I've actually had a chance to sit down, reevaluate my situation, and better myself. And that's a chance that I didn't have before.
See, how long have you been incarcerated?
A total of 17 years. I did actually, so my sentence was a split sentence. They sentenced me to 20 years. They suspended 10. So I did the 10 flat. I went home, but because I didn't take a chance to rehabilitate myself during the first 10 years. Like I said, I bounced around a lot. So I didn't really have a chance, or either that or that I just had too much time to get in any programs at the satellite camp. So they would never let me really try to. The only thing I did accomplish during my first 10 years was to get my GED, which I'm very proud of. So this last 10 years, you know, I went home on a probation. I was doing good for a little while, then I got back on drugs. I came back, and since I've been here, I've been clean and sober now for 3 years, and a lot of that is to do with NAAA, and a lot of it's to do that I just didn't want to live my life like that no more. I got tired of living the same, just doing different things, doing the same thing, getting different results. I just felt like I was just living a never-ending loop. So I made a change.
Okay, so you were let go 10 years and then you came back. Now you've been in 7 years after that.
Yes, sir.
And 3 years you haven't been, you've been drug free.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no more questions.
Freeman, you got any questions?
Ms. Boutwell, how did you know the victim?
She was the sister of my brother's girlfriend.
Did you know how old she was?
Yes, sir.
And you were 21 and she was 13 or 12?
I was 21 and at the time I thought she was 13, but my brother told me that she was 12.
I have no further question.
All right. I see you have a write-up in prison in December of 2022 for sexual misconduct while in jail. What was that about?
Okay, so that's actually their grandson that I caught that with. His name is Brad Phillips. We got real close and it was a heated moment and we did what we did. I can't change it. It happened, but we've developed a really good friendship. It's never happened again. And I met these three wonderful people through him and they're here today to support me. They are like the grandparents I never had.
I've heard you say in the last half hour, last 15 minutes, that at least twice, I wish that had never happened. You're not thinking about what's happening. That's how you ended up with the 12-year-old. That's how you ended up with the prison writer. Tell us what's going to be different on the street. If, we let you go now, what's going to be different then and why? Why you think you couldn't control yourself then with the initial crime? You couldn't control yourself with this guy in jail. How are you going to be able to control yourself when you come across the next encounter on the street and there's even less security?
All right. So like I said, through these classes, especially risk management is the #1 class that I've learned a lot from. So through risk management, I've learned how to identify my triggers, how to identify my risk factors. And by doing that, I've learned how to walk away when I feel a need to arise. I just walk away, or I might go talk to somebody and tell them what I'm feeling. As long as I have that support there, then I'm fine. I'm okay. Through Malachi Dads, I've learned how to be a man. I learned that a man is not just a male with nothing. A man is somebody that takes responsibility, is accountable. He does the right thing in his community, his home, and his job. And through NAAA, I've learned that I am powerless over my addictions. And I learned that I need to take a fearless and moral self-inventory of myself every day, each and every day, not just once a month or once a year. I need to do it every day because I know that this is the only way that I will be able to overcome what it is that led me to be in this place in the first place.
Right. So you said you had a previous term of probation with a split sentence on this exact case. And looking at the record, it shows that probation was revoked because you failed to register, you failed to notify, and you absconded supervision.
Yes, sir.
What went wrong in that case? I think you might have touched on it. You said
Yes,
something
sir.
about drugs a minute ago.
Yes, sir. I got back on drugs real heavy and I ran off. I moved somewhere else and I didn't notify the registration department that I was moving. And because of that, I felt like that I was going to get in trouble. So I just stayed on the run.
That was another bad decision right there.
It was.
Do you know now that, the probation officers are not all there to put you in jail? They're there to help you through this, and that they, the more successful cases they get, the better they feel about their job. It's not about putting everybody in jail. If you'd have gone in there and told them you're having trouble with drugs, you'd have got help for the problems you were having.
And that's exactly what he told me at my revocation hearing.
Well, that's the
If
fact.
I would have came to him, he would have helped me.
So you know better now. We're not gonna have that again.
Listen, everything that I've made, every bad decision I've made in my life, I've learned from. And I'm sitting before you today, a changed man. I'm not the same person I was when I came back to prison. I'm not the same person I was when I came to prison the first time. And if I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. We're all human. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm better than anybody else.
Okay.
But if y'all give me this chance today, I promise y'all I will not let y'all down.
Right. That's all questions I have. Warden or staff down there, do y'all have any comments to make on this case?
Well, how you doing, Mr. Danny? Christopher's been with us a couple of years now, and he's done some, positive things since he's been here. But I definitely think that there are some things that he needs to continue to work on to better himself. That's all I got.
Right. Okay, today you have a couple of people in support. Let's start with the man to the left, Mr. Vignair.
You can step up.
Can you say your full name for the record? Because I didn't get it in the first round.
I'm sorry, my name is Robert L. Vignair Jr.
All right. What do you have to tell us today about Mr. Botwell?
Well, by Mr. Boutwell, since we've known him, since my grandson has been incarcerated here, we've gotten to know Chris. And, after a long thought process and stuff between me and my wife, if he gets out on parole, we're going to do all we can to help him. We're going to try to keep him on the straight and narrow, but he's a grown man. We can only advise him and take time with him and try to show him. But that's all we're able to do, because we're not young folks anymore. We get a little age on it, but we'll try to help him as much as we can.
How long have you been knowing him?
Probably maybe a month or two, be a little over 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
And we get the next lady. Can you give us your full name, please?
Angelina Vignair.
And you're just a friend also?
Correct.
All right. What do you have to tell us about Mr.
What we know of Chris, he's a wonderful person. And I think if he has the opportunity to get out, we can keep him straight 100%. And he's a good person.
All right. Thank you for your comment.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, but
Unless you had something else you want to throw in there real quick.
well, this I can't think right now, but hey, we're gonna keep him straight.
Okay.
Try to get him a job. He got a place to stay.
Okay. A place to stay where? With y'all?
No, he's got his own, he's gonna have his own apartment.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Did you want to speak, man?
No, I'm good.
okay. Okay, that's all the people that we had in support. Today we have in opposition, Ms. Barbera from the DA's office.
Good morning, Chairman Bauer, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Freeman. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this morning. I am Tracy Barbera. I'm the First Assistant District Attorney in East Baton Rouge Parish. My comments will be very brief this morning. I believe the record is clear that this individual raped a 12-year-old, and whether he thought she was 13 or not is really not relevant at all. It's just what he did is he took that little girl's chance of childhood away. And he has repeatedly referred to chances that he did not have. And I respectfully disagree with him. He has had numerous chances. He had the chance to not rape a 12-year-old. He had a chance. We gave him a chance of probation. He had a chance to be a model DOC inmate. He had a chance to be a model probationer. What did he do? He absconded. He may blame it on the fact that he was an addict. But in my opinion, and I would respectfully ask you to not give him another chance. I believe he is a danger to society. He has a full-term release date, less than 2 years away. based upon the facts of this case, based upon the chances he did not take advantage of, the things he did or has done while incarcerated and while given the opportunity to live a quote free life on probation, he has not done anything which would support you allowing him to be released on parole. And I would respectfully ask that you deny parole today. Thank you.
Thank you. We have other opposition from the sheriff who replied in a letter form. So, Mr. Botwell, it's your turn to give your final closing statement before we take the vote about why you think today would be the day to get parole for you.
So, first of all, I would like to say that I don't deny anything that the DA just said. I did have multiple chances to do the right thing. What I would like to say today is if I could take it all back, if I could go back in time right now, I would. I would walk out of that door that night. And none of this would, I wouldn't even be sitting in front of y'all today telling y'all this. I have had to live with what I did every day of my life. Every day. And for that, I'm sorry. But I'm asking y'all today, if y'all give me this chance, I will not let y'all down. I don't want to live the way that I've been living. I want to do the right thing. I want to be a successful, productive member of society. I don't want to be that monster anymore. So I'm asking y'all to give me this chance. And thank you for the opportunity.
Right. All right. Now we're going to vote. Mr. Tillis, your case, you take the first vote.
Mr. Boutwell, I really appreciate what you've done. You have, it seems like you have remorse. You've been going through some programs that are helping you, and I'm really pleased to see that. I think at this time I'm going to have to deny because I think you need some more time or some more treatment for drug abuse and sexual abuse at this time. So my vote is to deny.
Raymond?
Okay, due to the recent sex offense in prison, the strong opposition from the victim and the DA, and the harm that she caused that little girl who had problems for many, many years and still is, my vote is to deny.
I'm going to concur with my colleagues for the same reasons and vote to deny. Mr. Botwell, today your parole release has been denied. This concludes our business no, it doesn't. We're in this year at 9:24 a.m. Thank you all very much. Warden will move on to the next guy shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Know what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
All right, are y'all ready to go?
Yes, sir, we ready.
Yes, okay, good. All right, the committee on parole is called to order. Today is June 11th. The time is 9:40 a.m. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. I have Mr. Freeman to my right, Mr. Tillis to my left. The panel today is at headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Today we at Dixon Correctional. Mr. Chambers, would you please state your full name and your DOC number for the record?
Abraham Bradley Chambers, DOC number 416656.
All right, I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of the process. I'll read the information to you, ask you to verify it. We'll then conduct a parole interview. I'm gonna assign your case, so I'll take the lead and ask the first questions, cast the first vote. After the interview is completed, we'll ask the facility staff for their input. We'll allow three people in support and 3 people in opposition. And I see in support today, you have Effie Chambers, Joyce Locks, and Alicia Smith.
Yes, sir.
That's all 3 in there in the back.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we don't have anybody in opposition appearing. You'll be allowed to make a statement on your own before the panel votes. So we'll begin the hearing. Today we have for parole consideration, Abraham Chambers, DOC number 416656, who is an 8th felony offender, who has been convicted of simple burglary, 8 counts, attempted theft, simple criminal damage to property, 2 counts, and theft. And on August 29th, 18, June 11th, 19, July 25th, 19, and April 25th, 22, was sentenced to serve a total length of sentences equaling 20 years in Ascension Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish, and Evangeline Parish. You have a parole eligibility date of June 8th of 2024, a good time date of March 23rd, 25, and your full-time date is July 14th of 39. That sounds correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. The case is assigned to me, so I will begin your interview. First question, well, let me just start out by saying congratulations on your good work on doing inmate programs in jail. You did a great job in that, and I'm impressed with that. Also, you've only had 1 write-up in jail for fighting in 2021. Although the Tiger Risk Tool finds you to be a high risk to be released, and there is victim opposition to your parole, so I just want to let you know that. One of my questions is, you've been on 10 different periods of supervision over the past 19 years, and at least 8 of those 10 were revoked. What would be different if we released you now? You already had a large number of chances on parole and probation that almost all ended up getting revoked. Tell us why today is going to be a different day and we shouldn't be worried about releasing you on parole again.
Today is going to be a different day because back then, I didn't want to admit that I was an addict. I didn't want to seek any type of help because I didn't believe that I was an addict. Today, I am a grateful recovering addict. I know that I can't change the past, but I embrace that. Back then, I was irresponsible. You know, today, I can honestly say, I'm not that same old knucklehead because that's what I was. I've made every concerted effort to rehabilitate myself. Hasn't been hard, but I think I've done pretty well. Given the chance to be released today, I'm not going back down that road. I have no desire to be that same individual again.
That's all the questions I had for you, Mr. Tillis. You had some questions for him?
So you've taken some drug abuse classes since you've been there?
Yes, sir.
And you feel like now you may not be you are an addict, you said, and you feel like maybe you've overcome, you can sustain it?
I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can sustain. You know, like I said, I never wanted to admit that I was an addict. I never wanted to do none of the work as far as step work. I never wanted to attend meetings. Today, I can honestly say I look forward to going to meetings. I've completed the STAR program, taken Nalextrone. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's an opioid blocker. I've been taking that for almost a year now, every day. So yes, sir, I do feel that I can be productive in society.
How long have you been off drugs?
Since 2018.
2018, you've been off.
Yes, sir.
I see. Did you get your GED? How far did you go in your education?
I graduated high school. Since I've been here, I've obtained a college degree.
You have?
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good. Okay. And as Mr. Barr said, if released again, you feel like you're on the straight and narrow path?
Sir, I do. I honestly do. For once in my life, I feel like I can be drug-free and alcohol-free.
How old are you now?
I'm 55.
55? Okay. No more questions.
Okay. All right, Mr. Freeman, you got questions?
Where are you gonna reside?
In Opelousas, Louisiana,
With who?
with my mom.
Okay, and where are you gonna work?
My plans are to work offshore. I've been in contact with a gentleman that's gonna give me a job offshore for my release.
And what's gonna be your sobriety plan?
Sir,
What's your sobriety plan? How you gonna stay sober when you get out?
I plan on going to meetings. I plan on getting a sponsor, continuing doing my step work.
I have nothing.
All right. Does the warden or the staff have anything to add to it about Mr. Chambers?
Yes, Abraham's done everything that we've asked of him since he's been here. He's programmed, he's attained his college degree in communication. And one thing I want to add, I don't know if, the board's aware, but back in May 3rd of this year, we had a female supervisor that was trying to restrain an aggressive inmate. She fell during that time and staff assisted her, but Abraham was in the area. He saw where she couldn't get up on her own, she couldn't move. So he took it upon himself to get a wheelchair, pick that officer up and put her in that wheelchair and get her down to the infirmary. And since that time, that officer has had multiple surgeries repairing her leg. She's been in extensive rehab. And I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware because I think that's something that he should really be commended on. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers, for doing that. That's very commendable, like he said. All right. So today we have in support of you, your mother, Miss Epic Chambers. Can we get her to come up and tell us what she wants to tell us?
Yeah. Oh, yes, good morning. I'm Abraham's mom, and I've been a big supporter of him as far as his work is, release. I make sure he gets to work and gets back from work because I brings him there and I picks him up. So that's a big factor I'm playing in his life, and I'm a supporter of whatever he does that is right.
All right. Thank you for letting us know that. Oh, is he gonna live with you? Is that what he said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We also have in support Ms. Joyce Locks. Would you like to come up and tell us what she's gonna say?
Hello,
Good morning.
good morning. Um, I'm Joyce. I'm supportive of Abraham as well. Um, at one time, me and him, we ran together and we did things together. I went back to college, got my life together, got degrees. I have a women's program now. I see in him the thing that caused me to change. At one time, he used to blame everyone for his, you know, decisions he made, bad decisions, but now he's taking ownership. We also share a son that's disabled. He takes ownership. We co-parent now. He stepped up. He finished STOR, it's a drug program. He's finished that. He's really made a whole turnaround because at one time we wasn't in contact at all because he didn't want to turn around. Now I see the turnaround. So I'm backing him 100%. Whether I take him to the programs to go to, whether it's NAAA or he can find one, but I'm always going to be that encourager to, keep him on path. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Okay.
And we have Alicia Smith, a cousin, but it doesn't say that you want to speak.
She's not speaking.
Correct? Okay. Opposed. So we do have some opposition. And some of the victims are opposed. This is your chance, Mr. Chambers, to go ahead and give us your final statement about, why this time's gonna be different and convince us that it's a good idea to put you back on the streets for another trial.
I want to say to victims, I'm really remorseful. I'm really sorry for what I did. I sat down and I see one of the victims' commercials on TV every day, and I think about the harm I've caused the family, predicament I've put them in. Back then, like I said, I didn't want to admit to none of these things that I did. Today, however, I can honestly say that I'm remorseful for everything that I did, all the pain that I've caused the families and the victims. If I had a way to make the amends, I really would do that. Really want to do that. So I'm taking this opportunity to apologize to the victims. I thank you gentlemen for allowing me the opportunity to apologize to them because I hadn't been able to do that before.
That's it?
Sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And again, I'll commend you for helping that officer out. That was a great thing. And I'm assigned your case, so I'll cast the first vote. And today, I think you made a lot of strides in the right direction. I think you're heading the right way. I think that being an eighth offender, you have a lot of history behind you with you. So I'm voting to deny your parole today, but I'm not telling you that I would never vote for you if you came back up again. I think you're heading in the right direction. You also have a high risk assessment from the Tiger tool that kind of adds a little to it. The number of victims in your case and your total disregard for the property of others kind of is a problem for you. Your criminal history of 27 arrests in multiple jurisdiction and out of state for 68 crimes that represented 8 revocation hearings on 10 terms of supervision. That's not a very good track record. So it dates back a long time, 19 years, like I said earlier. You're gonna have to prove to us a little bit longer that you're still heading in the right direction. So that's my vote for the day, but I encourage you to continue exactly what you're doing and reapply in the future. Dennis?
My vote would be to Grant. I'm really impressed with what you've been doing. Somehow I feel like maybe you've changed and you do show some remorse. That's one of the things I like. And I hope that you continue on that road, but I would vote to Grant today.
Thanks.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, I mean, everyone thinks you've made terrific strides, and there's no doubt. I mean, you've done terrific, this period. But sometimes you can't chase away that criminal history of 7, 8th felony offender with what, 6, 7 revocation hearings and the proximity to your good time date, which is right around the corner, and victim opposition, I deny.
All right, Mr. Chambers, today your parole has been denied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is June 11th, 2024. The time is 10:09 a.m. My name is Danny Barra. I'm serving as the chairman today. My colleagues are Mr. Freeman on the right and Mr. Tillis on my left. And the panel situated here at headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Our remote location is Dixon Correctional Center. Mr. Do, please introduce yourself, stating your full name and DOC number for the record.
My name is Tien Do. My DOC number is 729-860.
We'll give you a brief explanation of the process, and then we'll begin. I'm going to read some information regarding your case. I'll ask you to verify it. Then we'll conduct a parole interview. Your case is assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman, who's going to ask the first questions and make the first vote. After those interviews are completed, we're going to ask the staff there at Dixon to give us some input about you. We'll have a chance for your supporters, which I see you have Emily Do, a daughter who wants to participate. And we also have Mr. Randy Myers from the Jefferson DA's office who's going to participate. And then you also be allowed to make a final statement to the parole board regarding your case. So today we have parole consideration, Tien Do, DOC number 729-860, who's a third felony offender, who's been convicted of computer fraud, 15 counts, simple burglary, 7 counts, bank fraud, 3 counts, and you were adjudicated as an habitual offender for computer fraud on August 16th, 2023, and was sentenced to serve 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, and 4 years hard labor, all to run concurrent for a total of 4 years in Jefferson Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 8/15/24. Your good time date is 8/21/26, and your full term date is 8/16/27. How does that sounds correct to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman, so he will ask you the first round of questions.
Okay, how you say your last name? How you pronounce it?
Do.
Doe, okay. Mr. Doe, how old are you?
I'm 45, sir.
Okay, and how long have you been in jail on this charge?
I've been in jail for 10 months.
Okay, and what's your educational level?
My educational level is like 9th grade.
Okay, you never received your GED?
No, sir.
Have you ever attempted to get your GED?
Yes, I'm gonna attempt. I attempted to GED twice already, sir.
All right. Tell me what the deal was. What were you doing with this money you were getting after you would steal these credit cards and go buy stuff?
That time I was like a addict. I'm real truthful that I'm an addict, and it just everything is more for me, and me.
Okay, I'm glad you realize that. So you were stealing the money mainly for drugs. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were released on parole on 22 and it closed on 23, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you got arrested for this charge?
No, they sent me. They said when they released me, they Justin Parish can pick me up right after they released me. So
Okay,
it supposed to run
pending
concurrent
charge.
with Orleans.
Okay.
Sir.
Tell me about this charge of aggravated battery back in I think it was 2018.
That time it was, that time I was like, this girl, she hit me, then, then my anger just took over, then I did it, and I was deeply sorry. I talked to her before, and I told her I was sorry that I really did it, but I never did it with a weapon, but she did it. She said that I did it with a weapon, but I didn't. But I told her I was sorry. Then, everything else, like you know, then we talked again, and just like a friend again. That we it
Okay. Let me ask you this, was there a gun involved?
No, I never picked up a gun because she knew that I have a gun in my house because I live in New Orleans East. It's where a bad place is, so I always have a gun in my drawer. So, but she told the officer that I picked up the gun, but really I didn't. But I admit that I assaulted her. Yes, I did, but I never pick up a gun. But you know, to
You
do it,
knew you're not supposed to have that gun in your house either, huh?
yeah, I understand. Yes, where I don't supposed to have a gun in my house. Yes,
Okay, you have one child. Do you have in touch with your child?
yes, that's right there, Emily Doe, right there.
Okay. Okay, y'all have a good relationship?
Yes, we have a good relationship.
Okay, I'm gonna just quickly read through this. Jerry Taylor is opposed. He's one of the victims. Scott Deal, had no response. Scott Seen Kawhi is opposed. Gerald Dugas said he's unopposed because if you hadn't learned your lesson in 2 years, this will not help. But obviously you've only served 10 months. There was no comments from some of them. Chase Banks made no comment. And Brian Davis was unopposed. All right, you have 390 days of good time. What class have you taken?
I have taken Living Balance, Nurturing Parenting, Cage Your Rage, and pre-release program, sir.
Okay, have you taken victims accountability?
Victim accountability, no, that's the only class that I took, like anger management class.
Okay.
And, uh, yes, sir.
Okay, did you pay any of the restitution of $6,273.63?
The judge say that when I get released in the year or something, then I'm gonna have to pay for the restitution because I was incarcerated, so I can't pay for the restitution right now.
Okay, you have no write-ups. Warren, you and your staff have any comments?
Yes, how you doing, Mr. Freeman? We got Doe back in November, so he's only been with us a short period of time. But since his arrival here, he hasn't been a disciplinary issue for us. He has completed some programming. He's one of our minimum security inmates. He works back at the maintenance automotive school in the back. Um, I would like to see him at least try to work on his GED while he's here, and possibly get him in that victim impact class and get that on his belt. I think that'll help him.
Thank you, sir.
Mr.
Barrow?
Tillis, you got any questions?
You said, you were committing these crimes because of your drug habit?
Yes, I admit that I was drug, but I'm in a meeting, the NAAA meeting. I'm in the meeting right now. I'm still going to the meeting as every day, like every week. I'm still going to meetings after meetings.
Okay, I see.
Better, like you say, better myself for everything else.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, I have one question for you. You have a very long criminal record in multiple states over a long period of time. Please tell me why the board should grant you parole And what would you do different to avoid returning the custody?
My sister, me and my sister had talked about it, so I'm gonna come out and get my ASC first certification, get my GED. I was gonna get my GEDs and get a license for a dealership license to buy and sell cars because I was doing cars on the street and I'm doing, and I'm working more knowledge in here because I'm working at an automotive department. So I'm building more knowledge on it, on different type of cars and different type of vehicles, different type of motors and, and everything else.
All right, let's hear from your daughter, Miss Emily Do. Or Doe.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're listening. Can you tell us what you have to say about father and an early release?
So me and my father, he's been in my life throughout my whole life, and I would like to see him whenever I could throughout my life. And I just feel like our bond and our closeness, and I would love to see him soon, sorry. And he helps me with school whenever I have any problems and any vehicle I have. During high school, my friend crashed my car, and my father took time out to fix my car for me and provide any mode of transportation that I will need to school.
All right, thank you for letting us know that. All right, we do have some opposition to this from law enforcement. We have the sheriff is opposed, and also the district attorney's office is opposed. Mr. Do, you get a last chance to give us your statement about why we shouldn't, and then we'll go on to Mr. Randy Myers with the DA's office. Why do you think we should grant you parole today?
Like I say, I'm really deeply sorry to all the victims that I did wrongs to, but I really rehabilitate myself as a person and everything else that I better myself and like I say, staying out of everything that, that could trouble me. I'm staying away from it and everything else. And like I say, I hope, you know, like you say, I'm just saying, I want to say really sorry to my family and everything, to everybody who I caused pain and hurt for, and hope I get another chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Randy Myers, Assistant DA Jefferson Bash. We're opposed at this time to Mr. Doe's request. We're concerned with his extensive criminal history and limited programming that he's had while he's been incarcerated. A disciplinary report is good, and that's a good sign. But I think the biggest thing that we would like to see is to make sure he gets the tools that he really needs when he gets out of prison to be able to stay out of prison. And I think part of that is a long-term substance abuse treatment program that he could take and then be successful at completing. I also would like to see him get his GED and the other additional programs. As the warden said, the victim impact and GED are two things that he should work on. But he had gotten out on parole in Orleans Parish and was committing these offenses. I think it's quite clear that he has a serious drug problem, and he needs to learn a little bit more about it, I believe, before he's released. And upon his release, I think the board ought to, I know it's part of the judgment that he pay that restitution within a certain time. I think that should be made a part of his eventual parole release as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the board's ready to vote. We're gonna begin with Mr. Freeman. Please give us your decision.
Okay, Mr. Doe, you know, you've only been in 10 months, so we don't have a lot to look at. There's no doubt you need victim impact classes. You need to get your GED, and then you can reapply. I'm also gonna recommend drug treatment, but that's gonna be up to the state whether they can move you, because I think you, like the DA said, you need inpatient drug treatment if you're ever gonna stay out. So, and my vote is to deny.
All right, Mr. Tillis.
I concur with Mr. Freeman because I think you need some more training, drug abuse treatment, and there's not been enough time served. So my vote is to deny.
Mr. Dew, I'm gonna vote to deny your parole due to the extensive criminal record in multiple states, the number of victims involved in these cases, the total disregard for other people's property, the short sentence you received in the current case that includes a habitual offender conviction. I'm also gonna recommend that you continue with long-term substance abuse treatment, get your GED, and take some victim awareness classes before you come back for another hearing. So today, your parole has been denied, and this will conclude our business in your case. We'll adjourn at 10:26 a.m.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is June 11th, 2024. The time is 10:34 a.m. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. My colleagues on the panel are Pete Freeman to my right, Ducky Tillis to my left. The panel's here at headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Today, our remote location is Dixon Correctional Center. Mr. Flowers, would you please state your full name and your DOC number for the record?
James Earl Flowers, 124854.
All right. I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of the process. First of all, I'm gonna read some information regarding your crimes and your parole eligibility dates. Then we'll conduct a parole interview. Mr. Tillis is gonna be the lead person on the questions because he's assigned your case. After the interview is completed, we'll ask facility for their input. We'll allow public comment, 3 supporters to speak in behalf and 3 to speak in opposition. I see today you have Tyrone Smith from the First 72 to speak for you today. And I don't see anybody on the opposition in person. So, and then you will be allowed to make your statement to the end, at the end, then we'll vote. But let's begin the process. Today we have for parole consideration, James Flowers, DOC number 124854, who is a 3rd felony offender, who has been convicted of armed robbery, 2 counts. And on October 12th, 04 and March 13th, 89, was sentenced to serve 25 years hard labor and 75 years hard labor in East Feliciana Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 10/31/23. Your good time date is April 23rd, 84, and your full term date is October 18th, 89. That information sound correct to you, Mr. Flowers?
Well, I had an armed robbery before and I discharged on that parole on the first one.
That you got revoked.
And so I kind of new charge.
That's what caused you to get revoked, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, that's what we have. We're on the same page. So the case is assigned to, let's see, Mr. Tillis. He'll go ahead and ask the first question.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. Flowers?
You all right, sir?
Good. What's your educational background?
GED.
GED. You received it when?
98.
In 98.
So
I read the case. You got a long history. So have you been taking classes? What classes have you been taking since you've been incarcerated?
well, I took anger management, I took risk management, I took recovering, I took re-interest. Now I'm in medical dad.
How long have you been incarcerated?
20 years.
20 years. What do you normally do now with your spare time that you're there?
So
What do you normally do now with your spare time when you're incarcerated?
well, if I'm not in class, I'll be just doing just regular work.
You're still taking online classes?
And so I'm meeting in medical dad right now.
I see. The crime you committed, how do you feel about it now?
Well, I'm very remorseful, and I was young at the time and, just all about self, But now I see, as I grew older and matured, and that's not the right road to go down, And I feel very sorry and remorseful for what I did,
I got you. Have you been reprimanded lately? Have you had any write-ups? When's the last write-up you had?
About a year ago,
What happened there?
well, a simple fight.
I got you. So are you really trying to better yourself now? I mean,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been on that path of trying to better yourself? This write-up was, I think in 23.
Yes,
Last,
sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
I got you. So what makes, tell me why we should let you go now or vote to release you on parole?
Well, from back then and now, I see it's a big, I done made a big change for the better, you know? And, and, you know, like I say, I have great remorse for what I done. I can't change it, but I have great remorse for it. Cause I know I hurt a bunch of people. Even I hurt myself, you know?
The last write-up was in 23. When was the one before then? Seemed like you had a lot of write-ups.
12, 28, 23. You had a rule 3.
Rule 3?
Yes.
Okay, I have no more questions.
Mr. Freeman, you got a question?
No questions.
All right.
Wait, shoot.
I see you have a history of committing armed robberies while you're on parole for armed robberies. Simple robbery. And why would things be any different if the board releases you this time?
Well,
All the other periods of supervision you had leading up to this, you committed another robbery while you was on for a robbery. Like you said earlier. You know, what would be different this time?
I done changed for the better and like I said, I can't change what I done, but I done changed for the better myself. I know now it's not all about me, it's about, you know, the whole citizen peoples and everybody else. You know, and I would never happen again. I didn't, you know, used to be selfish person, all about, you know, myself at the time back then, but now it's not all about me.
So that's what you've learned. It's not about you. That's what's been the major change here. You're gonna worry about the other people now.
It's about, you know, doing the right thing.
It looks like you started living in balance and you started Cage Rage, but I don't see where you finished it. Did you finish those 2 classes?
It's re-interest in living in balance, catering raid. I finished. I got a certificate.
Warden, can you verify that?
Let's see here. I see where you could put pre-release phase 1 and 2 and celebrate recovery. That's what I'm looking at.
On the living in balance, I had a note that you started it in 22 and you started the Cage Rage also in 22, but did not finish them. And I was just wondering if we could verify that, but that's.
I can't verify where he completed the class, Mr. Barra.
All right. Mr. Freeman has another question. We'll go back to him.
Okay, one question. I see in from 19 to 22, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 contrabands. What were the contrabands?
The contraband was for like different type of stuff like yeast or stuff like that.
Like what?
Like contraband for like yeast.
Yeast, okay. Any drugs?
Well, I have one.
Now, see, you got a 14. Was that when they caught you intoxicated?
Yes, sir.
And that was drugs, alcohol?
That was Mojo.
6/16/22. Mojo. Okay, I have that.
What were you using yeast for? You were making your own alcohol? Is that what that was about?
Well, yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have anybody here to talk in support?
No.
NODA. All right, we do have some opposition from law enforcement, some very strong opposition. The judges are opposed, the district attorneys are opposed, the sheriffs are opposed, the police chiefs are opposed. So we note that for the record. And we at the point where we give you your last chance to convince us to release you on parole with go ahead and give it a shot. Why is it that you feel that today would be the day you get out?
Well, I'm a changed person now. I'm all for the better now. Like to get out and I like to work with old people. Now in Angola, I worked on the ward 13 years, helping old people, ones that can't help themselves, and stuff like that. And I know I done changed a great deal. And I know I'm ready, for society to do better and keep down the right road.
All right. I just need to note that I said there was nobody in support. I see that we had Tyrone Smith with the first 72 who's in support, but observing, not speaking. So now it's time to vote. Okay, we skipped Jim. No, Warden. All right, correctional staff, Mr. Warden, we forgot about.
Just looking back on James's disciplinary, he has a real extensive disciplinary history. He's been incarcerated a while, and he just started taking these programming classes last year. So I think James has still got a lot of work to do.
All right. Now we're ready to vote. Mr. Tillis, you go first since you were the case.
Mr. Flowers, I'm real happy to see you're taking some of those classes, and I agree with the staff there that I feel that you need to take some more and better yourself. I think you didn't get your GED, did you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got that, but I think some more classes on abuse would help. And I think you'd have a better chance next time if you come up. My vote today is going to be to deny.
Mr. Freeman?
Mr. Flowers, when you were sentenced, the judge wanted you to do at least 25 years. It's not in his purview because of DOC regulations, but I feel that at 25 years, that's when we ought to be really looking at you, and that'll give you time to do those few things we need to do. So get those done and ask for another hearing. My vote is to deny. Terrible terrible disciplinary history.
All right. I also vote to deny based on your past behavior while on parole and probation supervision, where you committed more robberies while you were on for robbery, and the violent and serious nature of those crimes, and the very strong law enforcement opposition and victim opposition. So today your parole is denied. Recommend, like Mr. Freeman said, continue with your classes, straighten up your disciplinary record, and try again. It will adjourn at 10:48 a.m.
Thank you. What you on?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is June 11, 2024. The time is 10:55 a.m. My name is Danny Barra, and I'm serving as your chairman today. My colleagues are Pete Freeman to my right and Mr. Chucky Tillis to my left. The panel's sitting here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at headquarters, and our remote location is Dixon Correctional Institute. Mr. Jones, would you please introduce yourself, your full name, and your DOC number for the record?
Charles Alexander Jones, 727162.
All right, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the process, and then we'll begin.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to read some information from your record and from the court documents, ask you to verify it. Then we'll conduct a parole interview. The
Yes,
case is
sir.
assigned to Mr. Freeman. He'll ask you the first questions. After the interviews are completed, we'll ask Warden Turner for his input.
Yes, sir.
We'll allow people to speak, 3 on your behalf if you have them, and 3 in opposition. I see that we have right here. We have in opposition today, Ms. Tracy Barbera from the DA's office, and in favor, we have Ronnie Bologna, your son,
Yes, sir.
okay? And then you'll be allowed to make a statement regarding your case too.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's begin. Today we have for parole consideration, Charles Jones, DOC number 727162, who's a first felony offender who was convicted of forcible rape. And on October 26, 2017, was sentenced to serve 20 years hard labor in East Baton Rouge Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 3/26/24. Your good time date is 7/28/27, and your full term date is 7/29/37. That sounds correct to you, Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman, who's gonna cast the vote, the first vote, and will begin our interview.
All right, Mr. Jones, how old are you?
47.
I got 59, okay.
Oh, but Lord Jesus. I'm way off.
64.
Yeah, 65.
He's how old?
65.
Born in 1964, so he's 60.
He's 59.
65.
59, born in 64, I got 59.
Okay, 59.
Okay, what's your educational level?
12th grade.
Okay, and how long you been in jail on this charge?
About, I want to say 7 or 8 years.
12 and a half.
Mhm.
Okay, did you know the victim?
No, sir.
Do you take responsibility for what happened?
Yes, indeed, fully.
Okay, tell me what went on, what happened?
Well, I got drunk one night and acting crazy. Went out there to the Belmont Hotel, looking for a guy over there, and ran across the lady. By me being full of that alcohol, I just did something stupid. Something that I don't do.
Okay, and you were originally charged with aggravated rape and you pled to forcible, am I correct?
Sir?
You were charged with aggravated rape, but you pled to forcible rape.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you got a pretty big break right there.
Yes, sir.
What would you tell the victim? I mean, she was
Sorry.
abused pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm very, very sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an alcohol problem. I needed some help with that too.
I see you got lots of hospital trips and you're in a wheelchair. What's the diagnosis, Warden?
What?
Do you know anything about his medical?
He gets on dialysis 3 times
Yeah,
a week.
only thing I can tell you, Mr.
Serious
Freeman,
medical.
is he's got some serious medical issues and he's dialysis 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Warden. You have 6 children. Do you have contact with your children?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you contact with all of them or just a few?
Yes, sir.
All right. I see you got arrested back to 1981, correct? Which is
Yes, sir.
part of the first felony offense.
Yeah.
You have opposition, strong opposition from the sheriff, the DA, the victim. She's not gonna attend, but she has a letter and I'm gonna find it before we finish because I want to read her letter.
Yes, sir.
You've had 4 write-ups. Of course, one of them was on 7/8/23. What was that about?
I really couldn't tell you right now, though. Yeah,
That was a rule 4 disobedience, 7/5/23.
Okay, and you had the same charge on 4/27/22. And then you had back in 21, a 22 and a 30C. What is a 30C?
General prohibited behavior.
Okay, do you know what exactly happened in this offense?
On February 22nd, approximately 10:15, Antoinetta Tate pulled the weekly threads report from Fresenia's employee phone list. Upon reading the report, Charles Jones used his tablet, attempted to place call to a number belonging to Fresenia's dialysis. He tried to call one of the dialysis techs.
Okay, all right. All right. You refused your $100. Why did you refuse your $100 pre-police? Is that because of your health?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever take any of the sex offender classes?
No, sir, not yet.
Under the law, you were eligible at 33%, which is why we're here today. Tell me, why should I let you out?
Well, God raised my grandkids. Get my health back in order, get straight.
Okay, I'm gonna read this letter. This is the last thing I have, Danny. Well, the warden can come after me. But this is the letter from the victim. First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to express my opinion. Reasons for requesting that Charles A. Jones remain in prison. It is my belief that Charles Jones committed a crime and now has to pay the consequences. In May 1987, my life was vastly shattered because of his actions, which caused me and still causing me much turmoil, complications with daily living, medical complications, physical and mental complications, and financial limitations. He received a fair trial and hearing, etc. There was DNA. She also matched the burn on your mark, the burn mark on your arm. That night happened because of no harm I did to him. I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was him who did the violence and injustice to me. He remained a free man from that night until his criminal unlawfulness actions caught up with him, which caused him to be arrested. And more consideration for a reduction of time due to his age or medical conditions, I still say no, plead no. I plead no relief. But I do ask that he be cared for his medical needs. Also to mention that I have a long medical history due to his actions upon me in 1987. They continued to worsen, and at age 68, I asked to consider what position in life he had put me in, and confinement and limited restrictive life I must live. Please consider these facts. I did no wrong. I am the victim. He is the offender. He is the abuser. He asks us not to let him out. Okay, so that's the letter from the victim. And then they had a back. I skipped page 2. But I think we get the gist of what you did to this young lady at that time and what harm it caused her throughout her life.
Yes, sir.
Ward, you have any questions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Freeman.
Ward? He froze.
He was checking his notes. Yeah, but get that covered.
I want him to be successful upon his release. So he needs to get those things done.
Okay, can you restate that? You were froze, Ward.
I think he needs to work on his GED. He
So that's what we're.
Maybe them, right? Maybe them.
Okay, back live?
Yes, sir.
Keep cutting out.
We missed the whole thing again.
You missed the whole thing. You started, and all we heard was GED.
We're gonna try to do this again. Like I said, I think he needs his GED. He definitely needs his sex offender treatment and also victim impact. Without those 3 things, I think he's gonna be real difficult for him to be successful upon his release. So he needs to work on that.
Thank you, Ward.
Mr. Tillis, are you finished?
I'm finished.
You got any question, Mr. Tillis?
No, I'm good.
All right. I also, all I can tell you is that I'm looking at criminal history, and you have 10 arrests, and out of the 10 that I'm looking at, 8 of them had a victim in there. So I'm a little concerned with that. As Mr. Freeman said, we have strong opposition from the law enforcement. Mr. Jones, this would be your chance to.
His son doesn't.
Oh, that's right. Let's hear from Mr. Ronnie Bologna, your son, first.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Good. Would you state your name for the record and your relationship with Mr. Jones?
Okay, my name is Ronnie Bologna Sr., and I'm his stepson.
Okay. We got you.
You got something you want to say?
Oh, well, basically, I just want to put a word in about his character. He came in my life probably at eight years old, worked 2 full-time jobs until, I was an adult. I'm a lawn care business owner because I saw him working at Brick full-time every day. So just want to put in a good word about his character, the man that I saw.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Jones, you will have a chance to give us your final statement.
Yes, sir.
We'll hear from Ms. Tracy.
Good morning again, Tracy Barbera with the East Baton Rouge Parish District Attorney's Office. As the warden stated, we are too very concerned about his lack of sex offender treatment, GED.
Tracy, so we're trying to get the offender to give his statement and let you be last.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, I I remembered the changes
Took
now.
you earlier the last time. I was trying to get it in the right order this time.
Yes, I recall.
Thank you. So we'll let him make his statement and you'll make yours.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
The question?
The question is, this is a final statement before we make a vote that you get to tell us anything if you want to that
Yes, sir.
might influence the vote your way. I'm sure you want to be ready to get out. Just tell us why you think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm ready. But, like I said, I want to tell the victim I'm very, very sorry for what happened that night. And, I want to get the chance to get back out onto the street where I can take care of my grandkids and my family. And I appreciate y'all for coming. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll go to Miss Tracy Barbera with the DA's office for the
Good
final.
morning. Thank you. As the warden pointed out, and we absolutely concur, we are very concerned about his lack of sex offender treatment and GED. It sounds very weird coming from a prosecutor, but yes, his criminal history is concerning. I am very grateful for one of those arrests that occurred after 1987 because it was one of those arrests that led to us getting his DNA. And he spent 24 years walking the streets as a free man, getting in some trouble. The victim in this case has, as she wrote in her letter, received a sentence much longer than his, and she spent 24 years walking around not knowing if the man who raped her so violently, this wasn't just an act of sexual aggression. I mean, he beat her and physically injured her. And she spent 24 years walking around not knowing if the man who did that to her was around the next corner or behind her in a vehicle. So again, we are grateful for that one arrest that led to the DNA sample. We, quite frankly, again, we're just in a situation where we don't think he has served enough time. And I believe his good time release date is in July of 2027. Although 3 years may seem like a long time to him, it's really not that far away. And if this man is going to be released from prison, we believe a more appropriate release would be on good time parole as opposed to receiving the benefit of parole. And again, we did give him a very lenient sentence, and he is lucky he's not serving life in prison right now.
Yes, ma'am.
So we oppose. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. All right. The board's now ready to vote. Let's begin with Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Jones, due to the heinous nature of the crime, as Ms. Barbera pointed out, you out for 24 years and this poor lady has been suffering ever since 1987. And furthermore, you definitely need sex offender treatment if they will even accept you. And you have a good time gate, as stated, in 3 years. My vote today is to deny.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Freeman, and I agree. And my vote is to deny also.
And I vote to deny also based on the past criminal arrest record, the violent nature of the current offense, and the opposition from the law enforcement and district attorney. Also suggests that you get the GED, do the victim's impact and sex offender classes before you come up for a good time release. So that today your parole has been denied. And that will conclude our business in your case at 11:13 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you know what you need to do.
All right, can y'all hear us?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is June 11, 2024. The time now is 11:19 a.m. My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. Pete Freeman on my right and Mr. Chucky Tillis on my left. Panel today is at headquarters in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and our remote location today is at Diction Correctional Center. Mr. Spillman, please introduce yourself and state your full name and your DOC number for the record.
My name is Stephen Spillman. My DOC number is 123788, sir.
All right. I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the process, read you some information regarding your record, and then we'll conduct a parole interview. The case has been assigned to me, so I'm going to ask the first questions. After the interview is completed, we'll ask the warden for his input. We'll allow comments from any supporters that you might have, which I don't see any of there. And then we'll have those in opposition, which Mr. Randy Myers is here from the DA's office. He'll be speaking last, and we'll give you a chance to give your final statement. So that's the order of the hearing, and we're going to go ahead and begin. Today we have for parole consideration Stephen Spillman, DOC number 123788, who's a 12th felony offender, who was convicted of simple burglary, 4 counts, theft between 300 and 500, 4 counts, theft of a motor vehicle, 2 counts, unauthorized entry of a business, 1 count, theft of 500 or more, 2 counts, criminal damage to property, 2 counts. And on December 2nd, 21 and August 25th, 22, was sentenced to serve a total of 7 years hard labor in Orleans and Jefferson parishes. Your parole eligibility date is 8/15/22. Your good time date is April 2nd, 25, and your full term date is July 16th, 2030. That information sounds correct to you?
Yes, sir, except for one thing.
That
The Jefferson Parish sentence was only 4 years.
I added them all together, but total of there were 7.
Okay, sir.
That's what it was. It's everything combined.
Okay.
Okay, so let me start. You have a job lined up to be able to try to pay some restitution if you get out?
Sir, I'm disabled.
Disabled.
Yes, sir. I was disabled prior to coming to prison. I received SSI.
All right, well, it looks like you owe a total of $46,800 in victim restitution. And basically you don't have any way to pay them back, right?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm like I said, I'm disabled. I came in a wheelchair, but I walk now.
Okay. I see you have a warrant for you in Hancock County, Mississippi for burglary and forced entry. Have you taken any steps to resolve that warrant over there in Hancock?
That warrant has been removed, sir.
Well, then go ahead and tell me why you think the board should release a 12th felony offender back to the streets. What would be different now than has been all these previous times where you built your offender class up to 12?
Well, since I got out of the military in '87 and got on crack cocaine, I have had a history of almost 34 years in and out of prison for the same crimes, theft and business burglaries. The only difference that I can say today is that I'm not the same man I was 4 years ago when I got locked up. One of the things that has changed about me is that I spent a lot of my life blaming other people, places, and things. Today, I don't do those things. Today, I apply myself by giving of myself. And as a result of that, I'm not planning on getting out of prison, going back to my same residence with the same people. I have made contact with Keep It Simple transitional housing. They have agreed to take me in and go through their program being released prior to
being released back into the streets. The only thing that I can say is different this time is that this is the first time in my life I've been to court, I've been to trial before. This is the first time in my life I've ever been confronted about all the crimes that I have committed. Today is the day that I make amends to society and to those that I hurt as a result of my thefts and my stealing. And also I have an opportunity at this time to be with my family. My children are grown, but I have grandkids today. So my main priority is to get out of here, to go to Keep It Simple Ministries and transitional housing and start over and pay my amends after confessing the day that I've been wrong, and everything that's in that paperwork is me. I can't deny that. That's facts. But the thing that I'm looking forward to is going to transitional housing to take a new step into society. And then getting out and be a father and be a grandfather to my kids. I'm 60 years of age now. I'm handicapped, I'm crippled. My right arm is deformed. My left leg is unrepairable. And all I can do at this point in my life is give back to the people that I've hurt. And the only way I can do that is by what I do today here. I work in a number of programs here that I volunteer to, that I facilitate. I'm very transparent. I operate with the staff fully. I just give of myself. The more I give of myself, the better life has been for me. You know, this is the first time in my life in 34 years of coming in and out of prison that I have peace. And above all things, I've learned to turn all of my problems over to God. Today, I no longer live. You know, I'm grateful because with a man with my history, I should never be released again into society. Most people don't have the opportunity that I have today, even just to sit here and talk to you all. So I'm grateful for that. But I'm not the same person that I was in 2020 when I was arrested in July.
Thank you. That was my last question. Mr. Freeman, you got any questions for him?
No, sir.
Mr. Tillis, do you have any questions for him?
You say you've been incarcerated 34 years?
Yeah, I've been in and out of 34 years, sir.
Okay. What's your educational status?
I have 14 years of school and I have 2 years of college, business college. And I have a military career too. I was in the military.
And you've taken a lot of classes and stuff since you've been incarcerated?
Yes, sir. I've taken in Orleans Parish, I took their reentry program. And since I stayed in Cottonport a while for about 6 months. And once I got here, I not only took some classes, I volunteer, like I say, four nights out of the week, and sometimes 5. I'm a part of the ministry team, and also I facilitate for the mental health department. I do living in balance, which I've been doing for the last year by myself as the sole facilitator. I also facilitate with just recently the last class that started, I do the Drug Dealers Anonymous. I facilitate for them. I facilitate for Cajun Raging. I'm a part of the Pillars organization, which is not a good time class. It's a class that guys get together here. The older guys try to mentor the younger guys. It's a pillar program that's ran by the warden and his staff. And also I do NA and our 10A since they split it, but I'm co-chairing in NA. And also I'm a minister. Recently just started a program where we go on a compound to different units and we play music and we pray with the guys to try to bring God into the situation of what's going on behind these walls. And I preach to and I teach on Thursdays when I'm called upon for the chapel here.
If released, what kind of job do you
well, okay, as of right now, before I was incarcerated, I received my SSI check and I worked for AAPR, which is a senior service place that allows us to work so many hours that supplements our income because I live on subsidized living. This time when I get out, like I said, I could have went back to my old residence with the woman I've been living with for over 20-something years in and out of this prison career. And I made a decision a couple months ago before I wrote you all that my son and I had a conversation. He said, Dad, that's not going to work. And for me, he was telling me that I was really crazy. And I understand why he said that, because I've been doing the same thing every time I get out, going to the same place, to the same people, doing the same things. So this time I selected to go I wrote the first 72, but they didn't respond. And then I wrote keep it simple, keep it real ministries and transitional. And they agreed to take me in. That's David Green is the director. And through the reentry program, Mr. Stokes has talked to him and he has agreed to accept me and he's already interviewed me. I thought he was going to be on the screen today. He said that he would, or he was going to try to make it here. But that's my plan, to go there and to learn how to, live in society. I haven't lived in society in 34 years. If you look at my rap sheet, I've been in jail, in and out of jail, in and out of jail. 6 months, maybe a year here, 6 months back and forth. This time I want to do it a different way. And that's by humbling myself to another program. Because I don't have a problem in prison. I got one write-up, and I think in all the years I've ever been in prison. So I have to learn how to function in society and be a help and not be a part of the problem.
Where's this facility located?
This facility is located in St. Bernard Parish.
St. Bernard Parish?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. King might have the, I don't know if he has it. You don't have it with you? Okay. Mr. King is here. He said he doesn't have the
And they've accepted you?
Yes, sir.
I see. No more questions.
What was your write-up for rule number 1 and 11723?
I was in Cottonport in HRDC. I got written up for having some dry dip.
Dry dip. Okay.
All right. Warren, do you have any comments or recommendations for us?
Just a couple of things. Stephen has done, everything that we've asked of him here. He's been real helpful to us, the administration. He's facilitating classes. He hasn't been a disciplinary problem for us since he's been here. He has taken some programming, but he does have an extensive criminal history. And I think that even though he is aware of what he done, how it affected people, I think he does need to know how what he done really affected people. So, victims impact will be helpful to him, I think. But other than that, he's done everything that we've asked him here.
Thank you. Mr. Spillman, you got one final opportunity out. You said quite a lot already.
Yes,
If
sir.
you have anything else to tell us before we vote on your case, now's the time.
Well, I just like to convey to you all that, I'm grateful for this opportunity, and this is a very hard time for me being here this morning, because as I said earlier, I have never been confronted at one time about all of the things that I've done in my life that were wrong as it relates to the criminal justice system. And I have deep remorse for the things that I've done. And one of the greatest things that bothers me is that I have a young son. I have one daughter that has been killed since I've been here, and I have one son last week OD'd on fentanyl pills, but they brought him back. And one of the things is that my time is short, but I would like to go home early as possible just to be able to have an impact in my son's life, because I don't want him to come down this road, and to grieve with those of my family that has lost due to the loss of my 19-year-old daughter once she graduated. And other than that, I'm content today, and I'm at peace. I'm at peace with God and with myself, and I'm at peace with the people that are around me. So today I feel that if I'm granted this parole, that this is my last chance. Like I said, I'm 60 years of age, be 61 in a couple more months. My health is gone. It's not what it used to be. And I just would like to have the opportunity to prove to myself, to God, myself, and to my family and society that I'm a new man, and that I want to live out the rest of my days as a positive member of society, and not, like I say, not be part of the problem, but be a solution within the problem. Thank you, sir.
And you said today is really the first day you confronted with all of your history. Let me just tell you what it actually is. You had 38 arrests for 112 offenses. 3 of those were against a person. Of those 38 arrests, you had 24 convictions combined, felony and misdemeanors. You had 9 periods of supervision. 4 of them got revoked. And you also had 14 arrests that got no dispositions whatsoever. So those were freebies. It is pretty impressive or unimpressive, whatever you want to call it, is pretty big.
Yes, it
So
is.
while we confront that, I just want to let you know what we're looking at on this side too, while we're trying to, you know, deal with you. I want to let you know that part. And we also have strong opposition against this from law enforcement. So we're going to give Mr. Myers the last word on what he has to say about the case before we vote.
Good morning, Randy Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. And I have some of the same concerns that it sounds like y'all are expressing there. Is Mr. Spillman has a very extensive criminal record, as y'all pointed out. His supervision history is fair to poor. Limited programs during this incarceration. He's only taken anger management and living in balance. I think he as well would benefit from a long-term substance abuse treatment plan and program. There's victim opposition. There's 16 victims in this matters between Orleans and Jefferson Parish, and there are a number of them that are opposed. He has a high risk assessment score, which is a very rare thing that I see. I don't see a whole lot of high scores, and that's very concerning to me. Although he does have appears to have a good disciplinary record. He did have that report for contraband back in January of 2023. And I agree with what the warden said, that a victim impact program would be beneficial to him. So I think he needs additional programs to help him when he gets out. He's had some drug issues, drug arrests in the past, and I think a long-term substance abuse treatment plan would assist him and could also help him to understand better the effects of the drug culture that could maybe help his son as well when he does get out. He has a full term date of 2030. That's not too long off. So for those reasons, we are opposed to his request.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Yeah. All right, we are ready to vote, and I'm going to be the first vote. Like Mr. Myers just said, you are ranked as a high-risk offender, which we hardly see those. That's a concern of ours on this side too. So I'm going to vote to deny your parole today based on the criminal record, 12th offender, who was arrested, like I said, 38 times for 112 offenses with 9 prior terms of supervision, and at least 4 ended in revocation. Your good time date's right around the corner on April 2nd, 25, and you'll be released then. I would suggest that you take advantage of everything you heard everybody saying here today. It was common from the warden, from us, from Mr. Myers, more programming, victim impact, victim substance abuse, and get yourself really ready so it can really be the right time and really can be successful this time. So a little more time in jail is what I think, and a lot more programming to get you really ready. Mr. Freeman.
Okay, first off, I want to congratulate you on what you've done this incarceration period. You gave us a very, very good talk, made a lot of sense. And I hope you live by those standards when you get out. But like my fellow board member, Mr. Bauer, I'm very concerned about your criminal history, 12th offender. And the proximity to your good time date, I thought about trying to put you in inpatient treatment, but you don't have but 9 months left, and by the time they got you there, you probably couldn't complete the course. But you need to really realize you need to stay off drugs when you get out. That's
Mr. Tillis. Stephen. His name is Stephen. Mr. Spillman. I was impressed with your, what you've done so far. I think you're on the right road. I agree too that you should get some more training and the facility that you were talking about being released to would be good. My vote would be to Grant. I think you kind of changed your way of living, I hope. And just like my colleague said, you got a short time around, but today I would grant that you be released. And I hope that you continue on this road.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Spillman. Today your parole has been denied. Good luck to you in the future. I think you're heading the right way. And that concludes our business today. Warden, thanks for you and your staff for all the help. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And the hearing will adjourn at 11:40 a.m.
Thank you.
And this concludes our business with you.
Thank you.